Let's have a look at the grid. George Maniki starts on pole, and pretty much, Grant, all of the championship regulars are up the front.
Well, this is the definitive race of the season, yet there hasn't been a great deal of laps so far. Of course, earlier on in the day, the session was cut short by Ryle Harris, whacking it in the wall. Big contact. Good chance we might see more of that in this race.
A couple of changes to the lineup this weekend. Colin Dunn's back, teaming up with son Ben in a two-car team. They've expanded. Matt Holt is filling in for George Elliott, whose back still isn't quite right after some recent surgery, and Dennis Cribben's back as well.
That's the one thing about this category they've never failed to deliver. Since inception, they've basically had full grids. It's probably lasted longer and harder, and it gives you more bang for your buck than any other category in Australia. It really is absolutely hitting its straps.
32 cars, 10 laps, race 1 at Sydney Olympic Park. And look at this start line. It's downhill. You've got to be so careful not to creep the start. Look at Grant Johnson already carving through, and there was nowhere to go there. Had to back out of it, and it looks like he's missed a gear and been swamped.
Yeah, that's paid the price for having to roll out of the throttle. That loss of momentum has cost him position, but look at the hustle down into turn 1, 4 wide. Can they make it work? And they do. It's a massively wide stretch of road there, but boy, doesn't that change right now. Just barely a car width and a half as we speak. It changes everywhere you look.
Oh, you spoke too soon. Kurt Wimmer has got a problem with the right front of his Commodore. This is the run down towards the 4X Gold chicane, turns 2, 3, 4. Maniki leads, Cranbrook second, Andrew Fisher from third on the grid. The Fords are going well.
The Fords are strong around the street circuit here. What a great place to race. A fantastic crowd turnout. Listen to the understeer. Oh, some of the tyres shuddering under the load of that fast sweeper. And it's a scary place because the road is so narrow, the walls are so close.
The Ferodo in-car with Grant Johnson, the 07 champ, is in behind Craig Gontis. This is turn 8, brings them back onto Dawn Fraser Avenue, and the run down what we're calling the roller coaster. There's so much undulation in this road, into the braking zone for turn 9, the Novotel Hotel just off to the right.
All the pressure is on Grant at the moment as we see a lock-up up ahead. It is a bumpy part of the circuit. The pressure's on Grant. He's already lost positions. He's in the championship hunt. He needs to gather himself up, get the confidence back, and start hustling for position.
Now, the safety car has been called because of Kurt Wimmer's car. He's stopped before the chicane and clearly is in a dangerous position, and Gary Baxter is out as well. Let's have a look again on the Yokohama replay at the start. We're with Fisher. There's Johnson. The nose is in the gap. Smart move.
That's a big shame because he was on a blinder of a start. Man, he had a car length in front of anybody else and he just got squeezed. And look at the positions he's lost. 4.
The run down at turn 1. The leaders are comfortable and clear, but everywhere else, it's 3 wide.
And this is always the gamble around a street circuit like this. Do you pump your tyres up to make the car go well at the start, or do you keep them down to make them last longer throughout the race? I had a feeling a safety car might come out.
The in-car with Ben Dunn, the Storage King Falcon, another of the hometown races, and that's
a big hip and shoulder.
Was Baxter and Wimmer getting together. Let's have a look at another angle at the exit of turn 1. There it is, bang, straight in the fence. And Baxter tags him on the way through again. And that Commodore's not steering too straight.
No, they've both copped the penalty for that one. It's possibly going a little greedy around the outside here. Perhaps Baxter didn't know he was on his outside.
Ow.
And that's why.
George Maniki, the pole man, leads us back to turn 1. Leighton Cranbrook is in second spot. Then it's Fisher, and then Jack Elsgood, who, of course, leads the series by 43 points over Grant Johnson coming into this race.
He's the one in the green car, the Cooper's Pale Ale machine, but aren't Ford fans loving this? The first 4 cars are all the blue oval.
You're sounding slightly excited.
Well, you know, I'm pretty good, but also got to actually pay props to Andrew Fisher because he's done a great job this weekend in the Jesus All About Life Falcon. That thing is honking around here. He takes his motorsport very seriously, and you kind of have to when you're manhandling a big ute around a corner like that. Not a lot of weight in the back. Really easy to step out. It takes some manhandling.
Pacemaker in car with Elsgood. That's turn 5 through the sweeper. This is 6 and 7 where they can really lift it up over the curbs, and it takes them through what normally during the week is a bus stop. We talk about chicanes on racetracks being bus stops, but this one really is a bus stop.
Yeah, it actually is. And you can see they've already started to fold back mirrors around here, and that's pretty much the fastest way to go.
Oh, that's
that
right.
isn't.
Gary Carson, the Select TV Falcon, who is fighting with Paul Williams for the Rookie of the Year award And also the Ashley Cooper Memorial Trophy that goes with it. And that was under safety car.
Oh, this can happen so easily. You're in a train, you're getting ready to do the start of the race, the restart, and all of a sudden everybody stops and balks and props up. The guy at the back, he can't see anything, bang.
Well, George Maniki can't see anything, nothing in front, nothing behind. He's smashing them.
That's great pace, isn't it? He's just coming off fantastic pace at Bathurst, a great qualifying performance here as well. And look at the clean pair of heels he's showing to Leighton Cranbrook.
Have a look at the lap times. 1.1 seconds faster than the fastest lap that Cranbrook's been able to muster. So 2 recent test days for Maniki have really paid off, but he's actually got an injured toe as well.
Yeah, he went fishing with his old man, and unfortunately a crab got him on the toe, and he's in an enormous amount of pain. One of his challenging combatants unfortunately stood on it too earlier in the weekend, and he had to go to the medical centre.
Century Batteries in car with Rob Jarvis. A bit further back, down in the pack. Here's Fisher, the Jesus All About Life Falcon.
It's a bit of a driver's circuit, this one, you know, often with a bumpy, cresty, crowny type of street circuit like this in Adelaide, often it's about driving speed and a driver's ability to pick the car up and actually manhandle it, throw it around. So sometimes you see different faces up the front or down the back at places like this. It can throw an anomaly or two.
There's Gary McDonald in the Mango Media Commodore, winner of the last round up at Mount Panorama. This is Johnson, Ferodo in car. Turn 1, the end of Australia Avenue.
Listen to that high engine revving as he does, as he comes back down through the gearbox. That's to try and give it effect like an extra brake bias to the rear, to try and improve the braking ability of the Holdens. That's a trick that Kim Jane taught most of the other drivers. Big revs. Squealing front tyres, so tight, lock to lock almost. Oh, feathering the throttle as you want him to come out. You have to remember that these are 500 kilos heavier than a V8 supercar and less than half of the tyre, so not a lot of grip.
That was good under pressure from Kim Jane in the Trading Post Commodore. And he hit the tyre wall in qualifying after trying to run a few different corners in some different gears, and it didn't work out.
That corner just there that they went through is one of the most tricky corners on the circuit because the road falls away from you as you're wanting to get that last bit of braking done and turn in. It catches a lot of people on the outside wall, but Jack probably really doesn't need to get caught up in someone else's accident. This is his championship for the taking if he can get the job done.
Kim Jane's not going to make it easy. Runner-up last year in the V8 Ute title. And he's going to make a lunge, he's going to have a look, and Jack has probably got one eye looking forward, one eye looking back, and the good news is that the race has actually been reduced by 2 laps, so that's 2 less laps than he can get hit.
I love this too, because Kim is a tenacious racer.
Line, mate. Watch out for Kimbo.
I think he knows.
That's a lot of counselling going on from the team, because when you're in this predicament and all you have to do is basically finish, your head does all sorts of silly tricks to you, so you've got to keep it cool. Right now, he's under a lot of heat.
4th and 5th, they're arguing over. This is a replay with Rob Jarvis, and that's Paul Williams running slowly. Now, he's fighting for the Rookie of the Year award, and there he is. He's in limp mode, just trying to get it home, and we're hearing from pit lane that he's actually got what he thinks is a burst radiator in that car, so he needs to get to the line to get the points because there's a V8 supercar test up for grabs.
And as you can see, some of them want it bad. A lock-up as the camber fell away from him. You saw good evidence of that. The danger is it's so easy to be sucked into the outside tyre wall. You get into that, you might not get out.
It's just occurred to me that Leighton Cranbrook's not trying because he's still got his driver's side mirror.
That's normally the one you lose first around a street circuit like this where it's anti-clockwise.
Ellswood still under this pressure from Kim Jane, but you've just got to play your regular game. You can't go trying to do anything different from what's been successful to get you in this position to start with.
But that relies on goodwill from your fellow driver, which usually there ain't a lot of in this series. So Jack will be going, leave me alone, let me finish the race, get away from me.
There's 1 lap to go at the end of this one. Our leader, George Maniki, has absolutely run away. He was half a second faster.
Just concentrate, you're doing a bang-up job. It's great. Keep it together.
Maniki was half a second faster in qualifying, and a bang-on job might just be what it takes to win this championship.
Does he attack under brace? He certainly fakes it. He goes late. Oh, he throws a nose inside the inside guard, but shuts the gate. This is a great last lap. Good pressure drive by Jack. This would mean the world to close out with these kind of points. The championship he's missed 3 times. Could this be his weekend?
A great result in this race. Won't seal the championship because Johnson's not far away, but it just extends that points buffer. Of course, the reverse grid race in race 2's to come. There's Grant Johnson. He's only a couple of cars behind on the road, but they're all important points.
So that's why, obviously, Jane is not mucking around either. He's only really within shot of Grant Johnson in the championship, so he really wants to get this guy out of the way to close the deal and slide him up, because you don't know what's going to happen in race 2 or 3.
You never know what's going to happen in any V8 ute race, let alone races 2 and 3. What are you talking about? What we do know, though, is that this guy, he's inspired. Maniki has done a lot of homework on this new track, and my teachers used to tell me, if you do your homework, you'll go places, and I never did, but this guy has.
That's why we're here, mate, and not out there.
Maniki's on the run home, down around the railway station. Comfortable margin over Leighton Cranbrook. The IC Lubramax Falcon through the last couple of corners at Sydney Olympic Park. This is a real statement. Such a shame that he's going to leave the series at the end of the year, but the checkered flag waves and Maniki's home and takes race 1 with lights ablaze. Cranbrook home in second, and the Falcons are in form. A
fantastic toast to Sydney he is. Jack bringing it home. That's valuable points. That takes him another step closer to the championship that he wants so bad.
4th place for the Cooper's Pale Ale Falcon. The best Commodores, Kim Jane in 5th spot.
It's certainly a great performance too by Brad Patton, taking out a very credible 8th, one of his best performances of the year, so good to see them coming home strong at the end of the year.
Let's recap the results. Maniki by 4 seconds. That's like 4 laps in a ute race.
In a control category, that is amazing.
Yeah. Fisher 3rd, McDonald 6th, Grant Johnson got to 7th. Ben Dunn, good job. Storage King Falcon rounding out top 10. Just outside Ben Cabbage, that car repaired after a pretty nasty crash at Mount Panorama. Cole Dunn rounded out the 20, but the winner is George Maniki.
You know, I just went out there and I did not leave an inch. I think I knocked my mirror in about 4 times on the first couple of laps. Kept on reaching out of the window to push it back out and make sure I could see, but it was really, really gratifying to see the other guys sort of head back into the distance. So, look, I'm stoked, yeah.